Oh, there we go. Okay. So, welcome back everybody. You're watching the Premier League Season 3. My name is Triumph Man and I will be casting this best of 3 between Fnatic Raid Call and Team Dignitas. Fnatic on the dire side, Dignitas on the Radiant. Now this is game 1 in a best of 3 series, both teams fighting out to earn a point in the Premier League. And the first ban, Fnatic deciding to get rid of the Darks here. Of course, he's had a couple of nerfs recently, just a few ranged nerfs, but in all honesty, it hasn't really affected his utility. He's pretty much intact. There has been no serious changes to the hero himself, and he's still very ban-worthy as far as the metagame goes. So now Dignitas, it's their chance to respond. Of course, do remember this is 6.75 changes, so the banning phase goes for 2 heroes banned, then we go into the first 3 picks, and then the 3 bans after that. So that has allowed, it's shaken up the hero picks, definitely, now that there is that one less ban, so it gives a little bit more variety. And we've seen teams having to really decide hard on what to ban and what to get rid of, because they've got that one less ban on either side. So I'm hoping we might even see some stuff. Well, I'm kind of hoping to see the Lycan slip through, because honestly he causes a lot of pushing, a lot of aggressive gameplay. I'm really hoping we don't see Naga come through, just because Naga's a bit of a buzzkill. And there we go, she has been banned. You get into a huge epic fight, a big setup, big initiation, then Naga has that tendency just to counter initiate. And if the team thinks they're in a bad position, they'll just all retreat. It is very, very frustrating. Second ban, though, for Fnatic, and what are they going to get rid of? We still have the Lycan on the board. We also have heroes like Chen, Enchantress, and Nature's Prophet, all really top-tier ban-worthy heroes. Also the Rubik. Rubik was eating up that third ban spot quite frequently, just before the 6.75 change. I think he's likely to slip through at this point in time. But I'm not dead sure that a team really wants to first pick him. If you've seen an enemy team picking a whole lot of AoE, lots of big ults like Enigma's Black Hole, Ravage, that sort of stuff, then that is a really good counter pick. But it is going to be the Lycan. Fnatic deciding to get rid of that. Dignitas now their second ban. What will they get rid of? So far we've had a couple of pushes banned out. Of course, Darkseer really good at pushing, Lycan good at pushing. Also, Naga is pretty damn good at pushing herself, especially if she goes for the Radiance build, can push a lot of lanes at once. She can also farm multiple areas at once. Of course, Riptide Riptide is very efficient at doing that also, but it looks like Rubik will be the banned hero by Dignitas. I'm wondering if they're hoping to get some big AoEs like Enigma in there. And I've seen just how annoying Rubik is against Enigma, the fact that he pretty much always gets Black Hole. Unless he gets caught in Black Hole, he pretty much gets it every single time. It's quite hilarious. First pick for Fnatic though, what will they grab up here? We've still got Chen, Enchantress, Furion, lots of really good picks. Honestly, I would not mind. It depends on what they want to jungle. If they want to jungle, and they're going to go with Leshrac. Leshrac still managing to hit up the top of the pick pool at the moment. And this just comes out of, even with the nerf, well, it's a very minor nerf. Now, Edict has a cast animation attached to it. It is a pretty minor nerf. And in all honesty, I know a lot of people are kind of knee-jerking over Alchemist and Tree. Tree in particular, I think, he's definitely had a buff, but I'm not 100% sure that he is really a top-tier hero yet. It really needs some testing. In fact, actually, the last game I cast, it actually had a gentleman's agreement in the chat, which they haven't done this time around. So Tree is fair game if they want to, but in all honesty, even though his laning phase is going to be quite a bit better, as I should probably remember to do this, because I'm retarded. And it's going to be Shadowfiend. Shadowfiend, of course, getting a big buff. But Batrider as well. Speaking of big 6.75 buffs, Batrider had a whole crap load of buffs. Tons and tons and tons of them. So I'm not surprised to see him getting snapped up at all. He was already semi-popular in the Southeast Asian scene. Was getting picked up every now and then. So to see him get these buffs, I would like to see him return to the Western scene. In fact, I think Demon is the only player I've really seen use that Batrider a fair bit. But going back to where I was, I do believe that Trent, he's definitely had a laning buff, but I think he's still pretty lackluster in the mid and late game. He's still sort of relying on that ult. The ult doesn't even do any more damage. It has had a slight buff in terms of cooldown, but I don't think he's all that awesome. He doesn't really have a huge force multiplication power behind him, and nor is he that devastating in the mid to late game so far as I can tell. The double pick though for Fnatic coming up. They've already picked up a fairly flexible hero, Leshrac. I very rarely see the semi-carried Leshrac these days, so I'm kind of feeling that he's likely to be a support or a soft support. Sometimes I see him actually getting a decent amount of farm, even as a soft support hero, and he tends to rush that BKB just to allow him to play more aggressively with his Pulse Nova, or even just the Edict allows him to get him close and just not get locked down. But it is going to be a Templar Assassin being picked up, along with a Sand King. Alright then. And I don't mind the Templar Assassin just because they've got a fair bit of burst damage over there at the moment. Shadowfiend, of course, has a ridiculous amount of burst damage, and Templar Assassin can deal with that very nicely. Also, I would like to see Shadowfiend and Templar Assassin go up in the mid lane just because TA, I think she can quite easily manhandle Shadow Fiend just because she has the ability to dodge all that burst damage, and she can actually harass him pretty well with her side blades, although side blades of course were somewhat bugged before the last couple of patches where they had a slightly wider spill radius than they were meant to. Sand King though being picked up by Fnatic. Now this will be, Sand King is definitely a strong choice, very powerful hero until BKBs start popping up. Once the BKBs start getting popped out, Sand King really starts to suffer and really becomes a bit of a non-factor. Because obviously Epicenter and Burrow Strike, if he loses those, he literally has nothing of value to offer to the team during a fight. And because he tends to come in as a second wave, if he doesn't get a really good spot to jump in from, if nobody else sets up a good stun for you either, it's very easy to get those BKBs off in time. Enigma though being picked up by Dignitas, and then they immediately go over and ban the anti-mage, along with Venomancer being banned out as well. Raid Call on the other hand, Fnatic Raid Call decided to get rid of Tidehunter, Lone Druid being banned by Dignitas. A couple of swift bans coming out there. And I'm just looking at this line, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm just looking two really big ults on Dignitas' side, so if they weren't planning to grab up that Rubik early, may as well ban him off, because he definitely is a really strong hero. And they've got a lot of magical damage at the moment as well. Nullfield is really, I think, often overlooked, and often teams will only go for, say, 2 levels in telekinesis just so they can get the early levels of Nullfield. It really is a huge force multiplier when it comes to that mid-game. Lots of nukes being thrown around. What console command did I type out there? I typed out the voice record. Typing that out in there helps basically my voice show up in-game. Of course, do support the Premier League. You can buy tickets in-game, even if you aren't planning to watch in-game. That's the kind of thing you can do to support the Premier League if you want it to come back each and every season with bigger and better numbers. Continuing on, one final ban for Fnatic. Looks like they're getting rid of some of the big AoEs. They've gone, alright, let's get rid of Titan. They don't want... Basically, I think the Titan was a really smart ban. They saw Shadow Fiend, they saw Enigma, they saw Requiem, they saw Black Hole, said, okay, we better put a stop to that. We can't afford to let them get a Ravage in there as well, because Tidehunter would have fit in that lineup perfectly. And a Ravage, a Black Hole, and then Requiem in somewhere mixed in the middle, that would just be utterly devastating. Windrunner being picked up, or rather banned out by Fnatic. In all honesty, I don't really know if Dignitas would have picked up Windrunner, just because Batrider is likely to be the suicide solo. We've seen players like Winter from the Southeast Asian scene. Winter plays a pretty mean side lane Batrider. Although if they are planning to put Enigma in the jungle, they could actually throw out a couple of different solos, so in that case they could have run with a Windrunner. Right now I'm going to say one thing that Dignitas is lacking is a good power stun. They do have Malefice, although even with the nerfs to the damage, Malefice isn't that fantastic a power stun. Really they want some nasty big AoE stuns like Burrow Strike, like Split Earth. Something nice and easy to set the fight up wouldn't be bad, but at the same time, if they're going to just have Enigma and Batrider blink in, lasso somebody, stun somebody else, and then hope they can get up a good Black Hole, it really won't be that bad, but at the same time, power stuns really make the game a lot easier. The final ban, though, for Dignitas, they do get rid of the Faceless Void. That's an interesting choice. I honestly don't know if Fnatic would have gone with that, but as we've seen Na'Vi prove at the International, Void can actually really influence the early game, the early mid game, just by throwing down his Chronosphere. Now the second picking phase. I'm just looking at Fnatic's lineup. Now the question is whether or not Sand King is going to get run as a solo hero, or if he's going to be some kind of soft support. Sand King and Leshrac could quite easily form some kind of trial if they want to babysit somebody up there. At the moment, Fnatic, they have a fairly aggressive line. Both teams have a fairly aggressive lineup. Shadow Fiend, of course, does want to farm, but he can be quite effective early on. Of course, Razors deal a ton of damage. Requiem even still does a lot of damage. Enchantress, a late Enchantress pick from Fnatic. I think we're possibly going to see... We could see... No, it's actually... I think Sand King and Leshrac are possibly going to work together, unless they pick up some kind of carry to go on the top lane with them. But with Enchantress in the jungle, they pick up some kind of pseudo tri-lane with the jungler there. They could quite easily take out the easy lane tower if it's being undefended. Even Batrider wouldn't really be able to hold onto that too easily. He would be quite vulnerable to getting ganked. At the same time though, if Batrider gets into a lot of trouble in his lane, he has to abandon his lane. With Firefly, he can quite easily farm the jungle. Firefly is a really good tool to farm the jungle. You just stack the camps a few times and charge through there with Firefly, and you can clean up a lot of creep very easily. And next pick for Dignitas. Right now, they really are lacking the support. They could really do with a good hard support. And we've got a lot of heroes available there. We've got Shadow Demon. We've got Shadow Demon, Crystal Maiden. There's plenty of good supports left for them to pick up, so no rush there. And they are going to pick up the Crystal Maiden. And Storm Spirit, the final pick for Fnatic. Okay, I believe here we're going to see a Sand King. We're going to see a solo Sand King in the hard lane, Enchantress Leshrac. Well, Enchantress is going to jungle, obviously. When with Leshrac and Storm Spirit, they will form a pseudo tri-lane. I believe Templar, or actually they could even throw Templar Assassin up there. That's also a possibility. But in this situation, I honestly think Templar Assassin would be better in the mid lane, just because she is going to be a stronger matchup than Storm Spirit against Shadow Fiend. Just because she can deal much more easily with the nukes there. And Chen, the final pick for Dignitas, so they also pop out their own jungler. Enigma in this case, it could either be Enigma or Batrider in the Suicide solo lane. If they had to choose, I would say it could be the Enigma in the Suicide. Well, actually, it could be Enigma in the Suicide solo lane, Batrider mid, and then putting Shadow Fiend and Crystal Maiden in the bottom lane together in the safe lane. But at the same time, they could actually throw Batrider in the safe lane to try and farm him in an early Blink Dagger, because Batrider really hits his stride once he gets that Blink Dagger and allows him to blink in and pick off a very vulnerable hero such as Storm Spirit. If you can get in on top of something like Storm Spirit or even Templar Assassin and lock them down before they can get mobile or get their defenses up, it is incredibly powerful. Just waiting for the clock to tick over, and then we'll figure out exactly how Dignitas and Fnatic are going to run this. I think I already know how Fnatic are going to put their lineup, but at the same time, Dignitas could go just about anywhere with what they've got. It is definitely... They definitely have a few choices available. And it's going to be a 5-man sweep straight away from Dignitas into their own jungle, just defensive. I think they're just going to try and get some wards down in a second. I believe Fogged is going to take the safe lane in this case. If he was going to go solo mid, I think he might have just gone for the early bottle, possibly. But we'll see. Alright, so I'll call the players here. So we have, on Dignitas, on the Radiant side, we have Fogged playing Shadow Fiend, Tides of Time playing Crystal Maiden, WTS, which is way too sexy, playing Chen, I2000 playing Batrider and sneaking on the Enigma. Meanwhile, on the Dire side, for Fnatic, we have Oh My Schneckles playing Leshrac, Notar playing Enchantress, the stand-in Notar playing Sand King, Trixie on the Storm Spirit, and JK, who was possibly Hanny. I know Sneaking was trying to get his attention earlier, playing the Templar Assassin. And it looks like Trixie will be taking the safe lane with Storm Spirit. The question is, how much support is he going to have up there? Yes, it will be the Leshrac and the Enchantress backing up. They're going to run a pseudo tri-lane with the jungler, and they're just going to pop down and go for an early tower here. And who are they going to send to defend it? Okay, actually not quite sure we're going with this at the moment, but it will be Fog taking the safe lane. Batrider looks like he's going to take the mid, and it will be Enigma taking the Suicide solo lane up top. He could definitely handle that, and at the same time, if it gets too hot, he can actually duck back into the jungle and just farm there, which, in all honesty, it may well get too hot. They're going to have Enchantress who can throw down a slow, she can get a creeper stun. They've got the stuns there with Leshrac, as well as Storm Spirit. Enigma really is going to have a lot of trouble staying close to this creep wave. And it's also quite possible he will lose an early tower, so he may need to just bug out and go and jungle in a second. Now they're just waiting to see if this pool camp has been warded. Defensive wards have been thrown down by the Radiant. The Dire already warding the top rune. And it looks like they're waiting before they throw in the second one. In fact, they've even got some counter wards straight away. I think they've got this... They've got the counter wards just to make sure they can keep that pool camp available. And also they might even check for a lane ward. That is a very early smoke though. Chen and Crystal Maiden. DD Rune is going to wear off in a second. Batrider is getting things set up though. You see he's already spamming Sticky Napalm. And that looks like 6 stacks on JK. Oh, the uphill miss. Managing to dodge that. We've got Crystal Maiden and Chen. Or actually just Chen at the moment. Oh, Crystal Maiden lagging behind. She is actually very slow. She will be trying to sneak in behind JK. Look at these stacks. And this is why Batrider is such a huge pain in the ass. Look how slow. They're probably just going to go for it and dive in a second. Might just wait for the creep wave and then go. Of course, they do have Chen's creep to tank if necessary. And 10 stacks. Would you look at that? They're maxed out on stacks. Firefly as well. This is going to be critical damage on JK. JK, Templar Assassin, no hope at all. Pops the refraction and then hits or tries to melt away. It's not going to happen though. They just use the Firefly to make her get the hell out of there. And Oh My Shackles dives in there. It looks like he's going for the second kill here on Chen. Can he get it? Chen gets taken out. Enchantress also responding. Sneaking is up here as well though. Another Crystal Nova thrown and Burrow striking. Crystal Maiden now in a serious trouble. Can they get some nukes on her with the creep? The creep will help clean her up, and Enchantress gets a kill there. So first blood for 2 kills. Relatively even trade in gold in terms of gold, but at the same time they did lose the Dignitas. They lost out in the experience gain, which will hurt them somewhat, although they did slow down Templar Assassin. Of course, you need to prevent her from snowballing as much as possible. We see the stun go down there on Sneaking. Do we have an Edict? We do have an Edict. Oh, snazzy new icons as well. We do have an Edict But he decides not to pop it, decides, you know what, I'm not going to get the kill there, I might as well just save my mana, which is fair enough. Meanwhile, Storm Spirit farming away here. Enchantress probably going to wait for maybe 1 or 2 levels, and then they're going to gun for this tower, I believe. They really want to get this early on. They see they're pinging, sneaking, they want to get rid of him as well. Sneaking going to come in from behind now. They get the slowdown on. They get the slowdown on sneaking. Can he land the splitter? The splitter does land, although Trixie taking fair damage. Does not matter though. They get the kill, and they're going to clean up the Eidolons as well. And it looks like Fnatic are off to a great start at the moment. I'm looking at the farm right now. Fogged though, 16 and 8, he's doing well for himself. At the same time, Storm Spirit is also farming up quite easily. And well, we shouldn't be surprised. He has got a relatively easy lane here. Enchantress now going to pop out of the jungle with a whole bunch of creep, although she's about to lose the Satyr here. Yeah, the Satyr does get taken out there, but they're going to nuke their way through this creep wave and then probably use this Wildkin War Cheat to chase sneaking off. The Tornado is of course quite powerful as an early harassment tool. And the question is, can the Radiant trade on their own lane? They do have Chen available, so they can do a similar thing. But Fnatic, by getting this early tower, they can switch it up and send reinforcements and then hold off down here, help defend this tower, and basically just make life miserable for Fogged.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
You see here a bit of gunning for Notar there. Fogged, though, taking a fair bit of damage. He has gone for the early Basilius, I believe. Somebody else was also looking for an early Basilius on the Radiant side as well. I saw an... Or maybe not. I swear I saw another Ring of Protection in amongst somebody's... Ah, okay, it's Batrider. He did have it, but he went for the early Tranquil Boots instead. I was about to say, I'd be surprised if he was stacking. They were stacking Basilius. Sankey now level 3, doing alright for himself. Considering he's up a... Well, then again, his opponents did leave for a little while, so he was up against 1v1, which could have been a lot worse. JK now finding himself... Oh, nope, that's just a Wildkin. That is, in fact, a friendly Wildkin for the die. Thought it was about to deny the rune. But JK finding himself a haste rune did also go for an early magic wand. And this, this is just because Batrider and, of course, his sticky napalm spreading the love around. We saw exactly how frustrating that was. Sand King now, just skulking around. Looks like he may even just duck into the jungle to try and get a couple levels. Now that Crystal Maiden is all over his case, Chen likely to jump out for a bit as well and just harass him quite a bit. And they're making the pings. Dignitas look like they want to trade for the bottom first tier tower. What is this? I think they're saying the wards. Put some wards down here, make sure we're safe. It's a good question. Okay, the die, and this is what I meant. Now that they've already made that early tower kill, basically the die they can rotate quite easily and defend against these pushes. The tower is taking critical damage, so they were a little bit late showing up. Looks like they might even gun for a gank here. They can get a Burrow Strike in on Shadowfiend. Shadowfiend will drop very quickly, although the glyph has already been popped. Here we go, they're going for the Burrow Strike. They only managed to get a crit there. The net goes down. This is an unfortunate waste of resources, and it looks like they may even get a few more raises down here. Fogged gets sent home, and the tower gets denied. So at the very least, something was salvaged there, and now we've got a haste rune there on JK popping. He's going to try and run down Chen. Chen taking a lot of damage. Refraction is up. Refraction needs to go up again, though, and it looks like JK will back up. Just having his boots shipped out to him just then. In fact, they're going to charge back around, still only level 5, and he's making another run for Chen. Chen like, oh, what the hell is this? And he messes up the meld, though. Do we have any more reinforcements showing up there? So Raze gets blocked by the refraction. Still no reinforcements have arrived. Leshrac trying to get in here, but he's not arriving fast enough at all. The net also too slow to get there. It looks like Shadowfiend will be allowed to retreat. Meanwhile, a push on mid. Sneaking and I-2000, Mr. Millennium Man charging in there, going to try and push down this tower, doing a lot of damage. They need some more Eidolons up, though. Doesn't have the mana for it. Batrider finding himself an Invis rune. What do we get set down? Soul Ring has arrived for the mid lane. Defenses again being rotated. Will arrive there. Unfortunately, the tower has already taken critical damage. As we saw on the bottom lane, it did arrive too late. And there we go. Frostbite, Sandstorm, not going to do enough. Burrow Strikes forward. Slippery. Notar. Incredibly slippery. Pops his magic wand. It isn't enough. Crystal Maiden will pick up the kill there. Now 2-3. Still in favour of Fnatic.
Very cool of you.
Dignitas are about to take a mid tower if they set up another push there. As soon as Fnatic rotate away from that mid lane again, we're going to see a lot of pressure put on that mid tower. You see the gold shark quite even at the moment. Leshrac, though, gets a kill in mid. Batrider getting cleaned up there. I was checking the XP chart. Only 500 advantage there. Not much at all. Of course, experience lead at this point in time. Extremely important. People hitting their maxed out spells, hitting their ultimates as well. And it looks like Fnatic now are going to try and set up a fight in mid. Going to try and pick off somebody. There we go. Storm Spirit dives in. Going to throw in the Electric Vortex. Also popping the Static Remnant. A lot of damage to Chen there. And he will get cleaned up by Enchantress. Also using the Seder Hellcaller to nuke him down. Sticky Napalm being shared around. Storm Spirit copying it now. There's the cocktail. Doesn't do that much damage. I'm sure it's not leveled up. Yeah, it is only a level 1 cocktail. This is stock standard maxing out Sticky Napalm first. And mostly they're just going for the Sticky Napalm plus Firefly combo to so much damage.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Radiant Tower though, likely to fall unless I can throw in, can sneak in a denied. Not looking promising at this point in time. Leshrac going to take the destruction there. Although JK in some trouble, going to get pushed backwards by that explosion. Firefly being used. But Batrider just trying to escape. They're also just going to try and burn his way through this creep wave here. Enchantress finding herself a double damage room. Chen apparently all out of creep. Not a fun spot to be in if you're Chen. Now it looks like Dignitas are going to try and counter push in mid. They can get this tower down. They really do not want to fall behind in towers. See, the teleports are coming out to defend at the moment. We've got Sand King moving in here. He's still only got level 3 Burrow Strike. Needs to get that maxed out ASAP. The range is extremely important. There's a slow though. It is going to hit Sneaking, but Burrow Strike is down. They don't have the follow-up stun. Not that it mattered though. The slow was thrown in by Crystal Maiden, preventing Sand King from getting into position anyway. And now it looks like we may have a fairly large clash in mid. Both teams throwing down counter wards at the moment. We see Storms, but I'm going to say this much at the moment. The Dignitas lineup, they really don't have the big AoE stuns, although at least they have got a few single target lockdowns to try and keep Storm Spirit in place. Trap being thrown away there, just thrown up against Creep Wave, gets taken out fairly quickly. Now Batrider's thinking about it, throws out the unstable concussion, doesn't manage to find anything though. It's Trixie diving backwards, and it looks like they're going to pick off Leshrac. The tower gets taken out, and can they bring down Enchantress as well? There's the lasso, the slow as well from Linnea. Doesn't manage to do a whole lot though. And we see how powerful that Batrider is at singling out a target, isolating them, dragging them back to their doom, and Firefly doing so much damage. Chen, with some new animations there, going to send Batrider back home. So here's Storm Spirit, looks like he's going to try and pick off Times of Time, throwing down a ward there. Trixie, unfortunately, fairly low mana, should be able to do this with auto attack, so Frostbite being used to hold Trixie off. Times of Time now retreating, he's got friends coming though, here comes Sneaking. And it looks like Trixie has decided to back up. He could see Sneaking's approach here. The ward is up. Has vision of the enemy Ancients there. We'll just check the Seer. We'll just check the gold income at the moment. Still slightly favouring the Radiant. It is a bit of a swinging pendulum there. That said, though, the experience chart firmly in favour of the Radiant side. And it just comes down. They both had junglers, which is true, but at the same time, I think Dignitas have just done a little bit less roaming. As we saw the early rotations, we saw Enchantress as well as Leshrac constantly rotating between lanes, just trying to hold off these pushes. So they've had a lot of travel time and haven't been farming quite as hard as Dignitas have. Or just rather, not so much farming, just leeching. We see here though, Fogged, he's definitely getting ahead in the last hit area. Up to 72 and 15, the closest behind him on the dial being the Storm Spirit sitting on 45 and 7. So Fog could become quite a dangerous opponent in a very short period of time. It looks like he's going straight for the BKB, has picked up an Ogre Club. He's being surrounded and cut off though. They are looking for a gank. Templar Assassin has spotted him up, and here we go. The slow will be thrown in a second. There's the Sonic Trap. The damage is going to be stacked on. The question is, can they pick off Leshrac quickly enough? No, not going to happen. Leshrac though, eating a whole bunch of razors. That was looking a bit hairy for him for a few seconds. Meanwhile, a similar situation happening to Storm Spirit up here, although he's got the better escape mechanism, so he does manage to dive out of trouble. Trixie just juking and then diving away there. And LP Man 69, I am also waiting for Jakiro to shop. I think he's definitely looking way more sexier now that he's got that really big, more reliable stun. Of course, Ice Path used to stun stuff, but it was incredibly unreliable. See the top tower going down extremely quickly. There has been no counter push by the Dire side though. See the teleports back to defend, and this is what Dignitas know this tower is important. They don't want to give away these free towers. Popping down here to defend right away. Trixie taking a beating there. And now Batrider beginning to max out Firefly as well, just using Flame Break there. Just to do a little bit of scouting. Sankey now spotting himself a haste rune. Doesn't look like any of the... Oh, shit, there we go. Linnea is going to go and pick that up. Crystal Maiden in some trouble there. Does get hit by the Burrow Strike. Here comes an Epicenter as well. The slow being thrown down by Linnea. And that is absolutely crippling, that slow. The side trap setting up that setting up that Epicenter. Sankey now Burrow Strike over the cliffs. Does manage to slip away there. Linnea with the haste is going to teleport away. Or not. Gets cut off. She still has her haste up though, has plenty of time to haste, will also use the meld to try and escape. Gets hit by the lasso, and that is the end of Linnea. Probably should have just run for it. I'm surprised she didn't just leg it. She had a haste rune, and they don't really have that many stuns. She could have just run for it. Barrier doesn't even have his blink at this point in time, but she decided to meld, try and be tricky, and ultimately paid the price for it. We see here, sneaking is getting a hidden farm, of course. Enigma, one of the fastest junglers out there at the moment. It's up to 57 and 9. Also, not a bad laner at the same time. Actually, when I say jungle, he's definitely a good jungler. He's been ducking the jungle every now and then to pick up extra CS, but he also does extremely well in the lane when it comes to lasting. It's very hard to outlast hit Enigma when he's got a whole bunch of Eidolons up. Going to check for items, check for anything major important. Mostly it's just been boots have been upgraded here and there. I see Sankey's picked up his whoa, mass arcanes. In fact, Templar Assassin being the odd one out there, the only hero who has not picked up their arcane boots. I see the footwear is a little bit more diverse on Dignitas' side. As probably the most arcane boots I've seen on a team at the moment. You see the Burrow Strike in there, just trying to clean up a few CS. I thought it might be going for sneaking for a few seconds there. The smoke has been popped by the Radiant side. Looks like they're gunning for a gank on Sankey. I don't really think they can get it though. Burrow Strike is up unless Batrider can get in there with a blink, which he does not have. It's not going to happen. They're just going to come in. They were looking for a pick off if they could find it, but instead they're probably just going to settle for a push. Although there's a Firefly being used there. Batrider going to try and do a ton of damage. Mech gets popped. No-Tail on the run. Pops a Magic Wand as well. Can they get a disable on him? Looks like Stormspirit's going to dive in there, throw down the Electric Vortex, and then dive back to the safety behind the tower. Batrider eating a lot of damage. It looks like Enchantress still in some serious trouble. She does get cleaned up. Crystal Maiden immediately getting stunned there. And there's the Requiem setting up the fight. 2 heroes down. The Dire side getting hammered there. Sand King also getting picked off. The Requiem managing to pick him off. Of course, Enchantress already dead. Batrider did get cleaned up as well. Now Linnea in some trouble. There's the Black Hole. That would have been nice before, but it doesn't matter. Down goes Enchantress. Leshrac is dead as well. It's definitely an unfortunate turn of events for the Dire side. They definitely got jumped there, and it looks like the push is going to continue. This early attrition value from the Radiant side. Chen with the... Oh, actually, that's not Chen with the mech. That's Enigma with the mech. Chen with his Hand of God. It really does make them quite hard to burst through. Meanwhile, it looks like Trixie is in some trouble. Trixie diving away. Then Malefic's doing a little bit of damage to him. There's the second or third tick there. Sneaking, though, out of mana. Can't really do a whole lot. Notar just keeping on the pressure here. Just going to try and keep this wave from being pushed up. Get his farm happening. He's just going to push this lane back. If he can get that Blink Dagger, his Blink Dagger he really, really needs at the moment. This has been this is somewhat unfortunate for Suicide Solo Sand Kings. They just farm. They do not deal with a lot of pressure that well. That said, Notar had a relatively easy lane compared to what it could have been. He could have had Crystal Maiden up in his face along with Chen all day long. But as it was, they went for an early gank on mid, which bought Sand King a little bit of time to at least level. I've seen Sand Kings completely stuck at level 1 and have to resort to pulling the jungle. Got the triple Centaur stun threat. I haven't really seen a whole lot from Chen so far. The slow being popped there on Fog. Fog, though, is this interesting? He has actually picked up a Yasha. And he's just decided, you know, I don't need that BKB this badly at the moment. I'm just going to pick up the Yasha for the early damage, early attack speed, and movement speed. And he'll probably get a Manta style in a short amount of time. I expect him to finish off the BKB before going for the full Manta though. Because so far he hasn't really had to worry too much about getting ganked. In fact, they've left him, you see here, they've left him alone quite a bit. He's already at almost 100 CS at 17 minutes in, so Fog is doing quite well for himself. If he was being put under a lot of pressure, I assume he would have rushed the BKB a lot harder. Leshrac though has picked up a Bracer. The question is, will he try and turn this into drums, or will he just go, you know what, screw it, let me get a BKB here? Which, honestly, he definitely could use. He's got a lot of magical damage on there, and just being able to avoid those razors, avoid the Requiem, it would not hurt at all. Batrider, though, finds himself a Blink Dagger. And this is where he really, really hits his stride. He becomes extremely dangerous with Lasso and Firefly. Can just drag them completely out of position. And look, he's already motioning. I've got my Blink Dagger. I want to gang through here. Let's go and find somebody to take out. Now, the Dire do have a ward up here, so they will need to smoke their way through. And they are indeed popping the smoke. The Radiant side will look for a pick up here. Looks like they're going to find Linnea. Linnea are actually backing up, though. They might, in fact, run into Enchantress instead. The Dire side looks like they suspect something's up, and they find Templar Assassin. She does not have time to activate the refresh. She gets cleaned up in short order, and now Leshrac knows he's in trouble. Needs to back the hell up. Batrider being hit by a net there, and this is going to be an easy second mid tower. There's not a lot Fnatic can do about this at the moment. The sheer AoE and firepower that the Radiant have at the moment, along with the basically the attrition value, they just cannot cut through their health currently that Chen is giving them. I think this is partially why Enigma just went straight for that mech, because they don't want to put all their eggs in one basket. They want to have both Hand of God and mech on Chen. You see, Chen has the money for it. He could have gone for it. He's been saving up a lot of gold. But if they put it all on Chen, Chen would be quite vulnerable to getting picked off by Storm Spirit. And in this case, they said, you know what, let's split up, make sure we've always got some heals. Hand of God being popped straight away now, as it looks like Chen is going to try and send his creep home. Will they go for the racks? They're keeping the pressure up here. Storm Spirit was trying to force him to back off on the top lane, did not succeed. They've just said, you know what, let's just base race here. If you're going to sit down there, we will base race you. Leshrac being knocked back, nobody jumps on him though. Enchantress popping Nature's Attendants, and there we go, there's the Epicenter, the Blink Dagger as well. The Epicenter, complete fail! Complete foul. The Burrow Strike, though, comes through now, being set up by the Electrical Vortex. Storm Spirit completely saving the day. The Crystal Maiden is taken out. And I've got to say, Requiem also missing. Somehow Enchantress, no, she doesn't quite get away, and here is Batrider. He blinks in. His mobility is so powerful now. They also take out Templar Assassin. Notal is back at the frame. Enchantress here getting nuked down by the Razor. She goes down as well. That is an unstoppable run for Fogged. But 3 heroes down on the Radiant. There's another Lasso. Unfortunately, Refraction is up, and Linnea is tanking that damage quite handily. Flame Break once again, going to try and save Fog. Can they get the stun there? Fog actually turns around, cancels it, gets a kill, gets a second kill. There is an ultra kill for Fog. Can he get a Rampage? Did he get it? Not quite. Batrider stole the kill. Oh my god, Fog is absolutely on fire. And that was actually the Death Requiem there. I thought he managed to pop off an ultimate for a few seconds, but no, of course, Shadow Fiend, when he dies now, he pops off a Requiem at half damage, if memory serves me correctly, and somehow Fnatic hold on here. They hold on, but at what cost? They're now 7.5k behind in gold, 7.5k behind in experience. You see there the start of that fight there. Holy cow, look at that just skyrocket. Dignitas now completely hammering them. And it's actually a Sanjin Yasha. Okay, so Shadowfiend decided, you know, I'm going to finish as Sanjin Yasha. An interesting decision. This is an item that we see very infrequently in the competitive scene. In fact, the only hero I really see it on is occasionally some of the Pinoy teams buy it. Actually, no, not the Pinoy teams. Some of the Southeast Asian teams, they buy it on their Dragon Knight, that's right. On the Dragon Knight, they go for the Sanjin because it gives him some decent stats all around, all stuff he can use. Shadowfiend, though, actually decombines it and he breaks it down into a Manta style. And is he going for a... Is he just going to hold on to Sandra, or is he actually going to get a Heaven's Halberd at it? I mean, it's not terrible. He could use it to try and shut down Templar Assassin, although she is working on a BKB as we speak, so that is one way to deal with it. I'm honestly surprised that he went for the full Sanjin Yasha and then immediately broke it down. I honestly thought that Ogre Club was going to turn into a BKB, so this is definitely slightly different, but Fogged, of course, is farming up a Storm. He's at 121 CS at the moment. And of course, if we check his hero kills right now, he's 8, 2, and 10. And you might think, yeah, whatever, but it is only 21.5 minutes in, and he's sitting on... He's sitting on 120, 130 CS and 8 hero kills and 10 assists. He has been a huge impact in these team fights. Sid Chen is actually working on the pipe for his team instead. Batrider now has actually picked up... Wow, okay, Batrider's gone for a Vladimir's offering. He might jump in. No, he wouldn't go for the Sand King. Sand King's a little bit too slippery. Meanwhile, Dignitas just going to push this top tower. Sneaking now, backing up. Batrider scouting around with his Invis rune, looking for a target to fire. Looking for somebody to set on fire. They actually, the Radiant do have a ward up in the enemy base, and it looks like they're going to jump. Oh, smart play there from the Dire side. realizing, okay, somebody might be skulking around here with vision on the high ground. I'm going to say that if anything was going to save this top racks, it was that ward right, that counter ward right there. Because if they didn't put that counter ward down, you bet your sweet ass that Batrider would have taken somebody out of the fight. And that would have been a very nasty 4v5 to go into.
Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
That said, it is not completely over yet. The creep are still pushing on this top lane. In fact, they may dive in. There we go. They pick off Leshrac. Leshrac in some serious trouble. About to get insta-gibbed. BKB being popped by Stormspirit. Can he turn this fight? I don't think so. He's taking a lot of physical damage here. Burrow Strike in epicenter this time around, doing critical damage, but the attrition from Chen is huge. Hand of God. And then the mech from Enigma, keeping them in the fight. The pipe isn't even done yet. Batrider, though, taking a ton of damage, being slowed massively by the side trap. The racks, though, likely to fall. And Fnatic, it looks like their time is numbered here. GG being called by Fnatic. That's game one, guys. Dignitas taking this one in strong start. I've got to say that Fnatic, though, they had a good start. They were getting a few kills, getting some decent farm in. It was pretty even for the first 10 minutes or so. Unfortunately, Dignitas gradually managed to work out an early game advantage, and just the fact that Fog was never interrupted. Shadowfiend, I think people really underestimate Shadowfiend exactly how damn scary he can get so fast. See, look, it's 23 minutes in, and he's already hitting for 200 plus damage without any serious damage items. Like, he doesn't have anything on him like a Breezer or a Monkey King bar. It's just a Mana Style, which doesn't have that much raw damage, and a little bit of extra damage from the Sange. Anyway, guys, this has been Triumph of Man casting the Premier League. This is Season 3, of course. This is only Game 1 of the best of 3 series between Dignitas and Fnatic, so stick around. We will have a short 5-minute break in between rounds, so stay tuned. And, of course, prep some questions, because I will be doing an interview with the winner of this best of 3 between Dignitas and Fnatic. So if you want to ask a pro player something, make sure you check that out. Also, a big shout out to our sponsors, Twitch TV as well as Steel Series. Make sure you follow them on Facebook and follow the Premier League on Facebook as well.